Okay. Fantastic. All right. So remember, if you go to this week's modules, it's going to bring you to this, right? And remember, I'm just reviewing this again if you've never been in any one of my classes before. Wait, so Nate, do I know you and I just don't recognize you from the little picture? Have you been in my classes before, or I'm just imagining it?
No, I
Okay, I'm
haven't.
sorry. Because you do you have a sibling?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anyway, if you go to today's September 22nd, right? So anything that's under September 22nd would be things that we've done that's related to the class. Okay, so you can go back and review. Today we're talking about rhythm. These are the things that you need to do before Thursday. Okay. Now tomorrow's Wednesday. We have a half-hour class. A half-hour class. Okay. I'm going to use that class as an extra help class. So if you feel like you don't understand how to make two drum beats after today on a drum grid, then sign on. Okay, so you do not have to sign on if you understand, and you're going to have your two drum beats ready to go for Thursday. But if you feel like after this class that you're still like, I have no clue what you're talking about, I need extra help, sign on. Okay. All right. So also on no, this will be for Friday because today's Tuesday. So weird, you know. Also on Friday, you're going to have a little tiny quiz on what these terms are. We're going to talk about MIDI and DAWs. You're going to have to know the parts of the drum kit, what tempo is, and what quarter note, eighth note, 16th notes are, and how to do a little drum. It's all here, okay? And all my notes will be on Canvas. So again, at the end of class, if you're like, I have no clue what you're talking about, Carolyn, you can either review the screen movie that I'm making right now, or you can sign on tomorrow, okay? So first thing we want to talk about is what MIDI is. Does anyone know what MIDI is actually? What it stands for and what exactly it does? Anybody? No?
Is it
Okay.
like something that you like plug into your computer and then it like makes noise on the computer?
So it's kind of, yeah. Well,
Oh,
actually,
I think I know.
okay, what is it? What is it?
Musical instrument digital interface.
That's exactly right. And there's going to be some class notes where I write that down. So actually, if you go here, I wrote it here. MIDI, musical instrument digital interface. Okay, that's going to be under today's date, so you'll see it. So you want to know what that means. So on the quiz on Friday, it's going to say, what does MIDI stand for? And it stands for musical instrument digital interface. Now, what does it do exactly? It enables your a keyboard to communicate to your computer or any other type of MIDI instrument to communicate to your computer. So way back in the day, you used to be able to connect the way they used MIDI in the 70s. Does anyone ever hear of Rick Wakeman? He was in a couple of rock bands way back in the 70s. Well, look at all these synthesizers here. These are all analog synthesizers. And actually, these synthesizers are making a comeback right now. These kind of module analog synthesizers. Anyone think this is cool besides me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool. Like, I wouldn't know what to do with it, but
Yeah.
Javi probably does. So,
Yeah.
I actually have a former student who graduated from Berkeley who's going to do a couple of workshops with us, and he does a lot of modular synthesis stuff, and he can show us how to do that a little bit. But basically, all these synthesizers are communicating to one another through MIDI. So you used to be a lot of people in the late 70s and early 80s, you used to have a MIDI cable and you'd connect your all your synthesizers together. So if you had a Yamaha and a Korg and a Roland, you'd be able to control all the different sound banks of those synthesizers from one keyboard. Do you know what I'm saying? So different brands of synthesizers have different sounds. Like I'm really partial. I really love Roland sounds. Or right now, what's really popular is the Nord. So basically, if I had a Roland keyboard and I love Nord sounds, I can actually probably buy a Nord box that had all their sounds or whatever. So and a MIDI cable would enable me to control that other keyboard. Does that kind of make sense to people, like what it was used for originally, like to connect synthesizers together? And then what happened is in the 80s, we had the first computer programs. Like I used this program called Freestyle a really long time ago. And basically it was a MIDI program where you just could play on a keyboard and it would communicate in zeros and ones, but the sounds weren't really coming from the computer. They were actually coming from the keyboard. And it's so hard for me to demo this, not in the classroom. But now what we have with, the newest versions of like Logic and GarageBand, you don't need a synthesizer. You can use a MIDI controller. So does anyone know what a MIDI controller is? So it's basically a musical instrument digital interface controller. What if I say, I asked a couple of you the other day, I said, does anyone want a MIDI keyboard? Does anyone know what I mean by that?
Is it like a keyboard that you can plug into your computer that like works with the MIDI stuff?
Right.
Or-
So
yeah.
basically right now, you see this keyboard right up here? This keyboard that I have up here right now, this is a MIDI keyboard, and it connects to my computer with this cable, right? With this USB cable, but it doesn't have any sounds in it. It's just, if I picked it up, it's really super light, right? Now you see this keyboard down here. This has like weighted keys. It has a piano sound in it. Basically, if I could turn this keyboard on, and I don't need my computer on it, I can play, right? If I try to play this keyboard, no sounds coming out of it. It's just controlling all the sounds in the digital program I'm using. Does that make sense to anybody? Who doesn't understand what I'm saying? Because that's kind of, I'm not really going to test you on that, but I do want you to understand like what MIDI does. And basically it enables an outside keyboard or source to communicate with your computer.
I understand. So is it basically like usually on computers when you're using like GarageBand or like Logic, you can like use like the keys on the computer, like the keyboard as a piano, as a keyboard.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
basically, to connect to an actual keyboard.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, you don't need a MIDI keyboard. Now it's set up that you can actually use the keys on your computer to access sounds and stuff. But, I personally hate that after a while because I want to be able to like play a chord or something. So what they have, and MIDI keyboards can be very cheap. Like you can get one for under $100, right? And they come in different sizes and stuff, but it just enables you to have more, like this MIDI keyboard actually has also pads on it. So if I'm playing drums, I can hit the pads and stuff. So, but it's just important to understand that. So that's what MIDI is. The other thing we want to understand is what DAW is. So let me just go over this for a second. So we went over what MIDI was, right? And these are, I just want to show you something as well, that here's a MIDI controller. So basically this keyboard here has no sound coming from it. You basically have to hook it up to your computer to get a sound, right? Whereas this, and here's like Javi's Nord or whatever. This is like $5,000, this keyboard. And if you're a keyboard player, like, and you do this for a living, you would buy this because it has unbelievable sound. It's like a computer brain in there, but it also could hook up to your computer, right? But then what we have are what we call virtual synthesizers, or third-party virtual synthesizers. Now, in any of the programs that we're going to use, you can use BandLab, GarageBand, Logic, whatever program you're going to use, they come with virtual synthesizers. They come with drum machines. They come with like an organ sound, a piano sound, etc., right? But you can buy these really hip third-party ones. Anyone ever hear of this one? A lot of hip-hop people use this, Omnisphere. Has anyone ever heard of this? No? So this is what we call, you buy it and it integrates with your DAW. And what does DAW stand for? Digital Audio Workstation. Everybody say that together, and it's going to be so out of sync. I'm going to love it. Everybody say that. What does DAW stand for?
Digital audio workstation.
That was great. I love that. It was awesome. Okay. I recommend this presentation that I have right here is in the module. I don't want to waste time doing this. Go and check out some of the third-party synthesizers you can buy because the sounds on them are unbelievable. It's really awesome. Okay. So let's go back to our day. So far we went over what MIDI is. What does MIDI stand for? Musical Instrument Digital Interface, right? What does DAW stand for?
Digital
audio
workstation.
Woo! Okay, and what is the parts of the drum kit are hi-hats, snare, kick, toms, and cymbals. Tempo, what does tempo mean? How fast or slow?
Fast or slow.
All right. And then we're going to go to this next two stuff right now. All right. So far, how's everyone doing? You're doing okay?
Good.
Okay, great. Thank you. If you need to stand up, be my guest. If you have a question, just blurt it out. So next thing we're going to do is talk about drum programming. Okay. So we're going to be using a couple of really cool online free drum machines in a second. Okay. So first off, we have to understand, we're going to be thinking about music right now, not as notation. We're going to be thinking about it as like little boxes. Okay. So when you look at a drum machine grid, and we'll look at that, we'll look at it in 1 second, you'll see boxes. Okay. So you have to think about like, what do those boxes mean? So most drum machines default to 16 boxes. You'll see this. You'll see 16 boxes like this. And that represents what we call like one measure in music. Follow me so far? So a measure is just like when I count 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one measure. Now, again, I'm going to, in parentheses, remind you that if the time signature was different or whatever, it measures can change depending on time signatures and stuff, all right? So let's look at the 16 boxes here. So every 4 boxes is the beginning of a beat. So think about that Aerosmith drum beat. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay. So every time I'm saying 1, 2, 3, or 4, there's 4 boxes that you can subdivide or fill other beats in with. The Clyde Stubblefield, what he was doing is he was going 1, 2, 3, and 4. And he was, instead of playing the snare drum right here on what we call on 13, on box 13, he was playing it on box 15. Okay. So let's look at this for a second. This is drum machine tablature. So if we look at this, this is the first measure, and this is the second measure. So, and this is just a kick drum and a snare drum. So let's just kind of like try to hear this drum beat in our heads first before we actually program it, okay? So it's telling me, you put an X where you want the actual sound to happen. So on this one, it's saying, okay, on 1, hit the kick drum. So boom, right? On 5, hit the snare drum, which is really beat 2. So remember, beat 1 is really 1, but beat 2 is really box 5. The beginning of beat 3 is box 9, and the beginning of beat 4 is box 13, okay? So if we look at this quickly, the snare drum's on beat 2 and 4. See this? Box 5 and box 13. And the same thing here, box 5 and box, but this one, it goes on box 13, 14, 15, okay? So let's try to program this in. Check this out. If we now go to this, no, I did that one. Let's go. Okay. I'm going to do this first, guys, and then we're going to and then I'm going to let you all try to do this on your own for a second, okay? So when you go onto Canvas, you're going to see this page called Now Let's Program Some Beats using HTML drum machines. So these are drum machines that are for free that exist on the cloud. So let's just let's open up this first one right now.
Wait, where do we open it from?
I'll show you where to open it in a second. I'm going to do it first. I think I didn't publish it yet because I want everyone to watch me first. Isn't that like very teacherly of me? I just want you to watch me first, and then I'm going to open it, and you can go and do it. And there's 2 different drum machines you can choose from. All right, but let's look at the first one. So let me actually also pull this out for a second. Okay. So we're going to try to program this into this drum machine. Okay. So you see the 16 beats right here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now, what did they do that's kind of cool so that you could see where beat 1, 2, 3, and 4? What did they do? They did every beat in a different color. Yes, they did in a different color. So let's look at this drum beat for a second. So I told you that the snare drum is going to be on beat 2, so which is 1, 2, 3 beat, which is 5, and this one right here, 13. So what we have to do first is select snare. See all the red dots on snare? And now I can also change the tempo. Let's make it a little slower for a second, right? So let's put our snare drums in. I'm going to hit play, and I'm going to put a snare drum on 5 and a snare drum on 13. Right? You guys all hear that? Okay. So also you can also like change the tuning of the snare drum. Or if you want it really trappy, you want it high. Right? There's like that trappy kind of sound, right? All right? So let's see, where else does it tell us to put a beat? They also say put a kick drum on 1, 7, 11, 15. Okay, let's do that. So I'm going to put the kick drum on the red dot, right? Red dot. Hello.
I think you have to press kick at the bottom.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Duh. Okay, so what do I say? So what were the numbers? 1. What was it? 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Was it 7?
I don't even.
Yeah.
I don't even. Okay.
One,
7,
11, 15. 1, 7. Okay, so that's what that grid sounds like. Now again, we can also change the sound of the kick drum. You hear that's pretty low. Change the volume, right? Now it didn't say to add any hi-hats, but let's add some hi-hats. Close is close, so a hi-hat. So let's just add some.
Does anyone hear her? I hear it play.
Wait a second. Let's open one. Okay, I'm gonna hit stop. It's a little delayy because I'm streaming on Zoom and talking to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing because this is cloud based. It's taking a lot on our internet, so that's why it was very weird. Like I heard myself, you know. So here's let me just show you the other drum machine, okay? And then what I want you to do is try to program in number 4 and number 5. Pick either program in 4 or 5, and then when you're done, you know, look up and we'll give a listen to them. Okay, so let me just show you the other drum beat, and then I'll open the page and you can find both of these drum machines. Here's the other one. This is drumbit. I like this one a little bit better. It looks more like what's in an actual DAW. Okay. Okay, so all you have to do is clear it. Why does it actually have something here? That's weird. I'm just gonna click on it for now to clear it. So you don't have to actually pick the different sounds, right? Let's listen to what this sounds like. kind of weird because I'm doing something and it's taking a while, then it's showing up, then it's coming back. So here's what I want you to do in the next 10 minutes, okay? I'm going to unlock, I'm going to publish. So you're going to have to refresh your browser. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go back to my module. This week's module. Does anyone have any questions about what I was doing? Yes? No? Okay. So I'm going to unlock this, right? So refresh your browser. Click on now let's program some beats and the drum program on the grid, okay? So have both of those windows open. So remember, you can do control click and say open in a new tab. That way you can pull them out. And what I want you to do is try to program in one of the drum machines of your choice, okay? Try to program in either number 4 or number 5, okay? And then when you're done, just put your little raise your blue hand. So take about 10 minutes, all right, to try to program in one of those and one of the drum machines, all right? And then when you're done,
where are the beats? Where are the grids?
Okay.
Or
So
yeah,
move
the
on to
grid.
Go to daily. Again, I'll show you what you can do is if you go to
It's in modules, drum
just go to
program on
modules,
the
yeah.
grid.
Yep. If you go to
Oh,
modules, you'll
okay.
see both of those. And then after that is the page. Okay. So take 10 minutes, try to pick one of those and program it in. And you can add a hi-hat part or something else too, but definitely either try to get the kick and the snare exactly what they want. Okay. And then when you're done, raise your little blue hand, and then we're going to give a listen to some. Okay.
So it's either 4 or 5.
Yeah, pick one of them. Pick either. Now remember, these are 2 measures, so you're either going to do the first measure or the second measure, okay? Because the drum machines only go for 16 beats right now. All right. So go ahead, guys, and if you have a question, I'm right here. Just say you don't understand. But you can shut your. You have to mute yourself now, or else we'll hear you.
I have a little problem. Is there a link for it?
Yes, there is. Again, what you can do if you refresh your browser, go to this week's modules and keep scrolling, keep going next, and you will get to the page where the links are.
Is it called BandLab?
No, it's not. Go to this week's modules.
One fish question. Next. I do not see.
You'll see the date September 22nd. And under that date, there's this page called Drum Program on the Grid. That's where the drum beats are. And then the next page after that is called Now Let's Program Some Drum Beats. And that's where the 2 links are. Did you see those? I'm still sure you got that? Excellent. Fantastic.
I'm finished.
All right. Give me 1 second, all right? Which one did you use, Aaron? Did you use the black one or the first one?
Drum bit, yeah, the second.
Okay. Yeah. I think you could actually do 2 measures in that one. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, I did do 2.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm going to give everyone another few minutes. So if you need a break, and you can come back in a couple of minutes.
I finished too.
All right. Good. So guys, I'm going to give everyone 5 minutes though, even if you finish fast. I'll give everyone until right now it's 12:46. So if you want to take a 5-minute break, that's fine, and we'll come back because I want to listen to some of them that people did. Okay. So you should be back on screen by like 12:51. Yes.
So how do we do the second measure?
So in the drum bit one, you can add 2 measures.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Found it.
Top,
Okay.
right. You just click on it.
Yeah. It's kind of fun that those are for free. You know, I found those last year when we were going remote. I was like, oh, I wonder what we could do for free. So, because you can actually save them too and put them in any DAW you have. Aaron, do you use a DAW already? Do you do some music already?
Sorry, repeat that.
Oh, I was asking you if you actually do use a digital workstation already, and if so, what it was.
Oh no, I just
Oh, okay.
I just get the things that's like clicking on the kicks.
Okay. Yeah. Rowan, how are you doing? I'll be with you in a second, Lucia. Rowan, how are you
I'm
doing?
doing good.
Okay. How about Lucia? How are you
To
doing?
do 2 measures, I can't figure out. I'm on the second one. Like, just where do I?
We're on the second one. All right, let me go back over here.
Can I do my own?
Yeah, let me give. How many people are done? I only see one red hand, one blue hand. I know Pablo's done. Aaron's done. Just raise your blue hand when you're done, like from the participant screen. Pablo, give me 1 second because I am going to ask you to.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
2 measures, I think that you do. You just hit like 1, 2.
Yeah.
You could do 4 measures actually in that one.
I see.
So
Wait, can you do 2 measures in the other?
I don't think you can, but I haven't used that one since last year, so I'm not sure if you can. So, okay. And then the other thing is we want to make sure that we can actually export these. Let me see something. You could, why don't you fool around also? You can add you see what I'm doing right here? You can add reverb and stuff to your beat. So why don't you add a little bit of effect to it? Like if you're in the drum bit one, you can add some effect to it. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's the plus edition. We don't want to pay for that. Okay. Yeah, so you can save it. See what I mean? So that's one thing I'm going to want you to do for Friday is write a couple of beats and write a couple of beats in this and then save it so we can listen to it. So, all right. So take 1 more minute and whatever you have because I want to give a listen to some of these.
Can I open it? Actually, never mind.
Yeah. So, all right. I'm gonna just let's just do this. I want to start listening to some folks to see what you did. So let's do this. I'm actually gonna allow you guys to share your screen. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a second. As soon as I find my cursor, here it is. Okay. So stop share. I'm also gonna stop